Well, the real issue is they brought in a bunch of veterans who are not good leaders. Other than Tyson Chandler and maybe Rondo, everyone else that they brought onto the team has a very bad history with interacting with other players on the team, and even Rondo to a degree. Even though for all intents and purposes, when he's been put in charge of a younger team, he's shown himself to be a relatively good steward. He was that way in Chicago. He was that way in New Orleans. And from what's been understood, he's been that way as well with the Lakers. The younger players look to Rondo as the leader, not LeBron. If you remember when Rondo hit that game-winning shot against the Celtics, they all crowded around Rondo. And LeBron tried to run in like a big kid trying to still fit in with the little kids. It's very obvious that them young dudes, they are not feeling LeBron at all.
And a bunch of young players who may not be invested either because they know they could be traded, but they will be traded, all of them, if the right guy becomes available. And so you have a fractured team with one of the guys who's like a brilliant guy in Rondo on the floor and is a great playoff performer, sitting off by himself. That's what happens.
In NBA circles, what Rajon Rondo did actually has a term. It's called a silent protest. He's basically exposing the discord that takes place behind the scenes, and he's bringing it out for public consumption.
Interesting.
So now we can talk about what's really going on with their team, and now we're going to assess blame from top to bottom for a team that has not met expectations. And everybody's going to deserve their share of blame here. I'm going to be a guy that I notice is going to blame the players. And here's why. When you look at the Los Angeles Lakers roster, unless we overinflate their young talent and some of the teams that are ahead of them in the standings, I challenge people to say, is their young talent better than what we see currently on the Clippers, what we see on the Spurs, what we see on the Timberwolves? These are the teams that are ahead of them in the standings. I think, yes, the Anthony Davis did cause a the Anthony Davis trade talks did cause a disruption in the locker room.
Beyond that, Jalen Rose, not just a disruption, a detachment. The Anthony Davis talks caused and precipitated a detachment. And there will be no reclamation of the former attachment that was there. That's why I state LeBron James and his team, they overrated their bully power. They tried to intimidate the New Orleans Pelicans into giving them Anthony Davis. Basically, they were feeling themselves way too much, and it ended up destroying their locker room.
But when you look at having who Max calls the best player in the game, LeBron James, and I know he deserves to be in that conversation, usually having that guy makes you a playoff team, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Kuzma did take a leap this year and showed that he had what it takes to be a prolific scorer in the game. So did Brandon Ingram. They're clearly missing Lonzo Ball, who will never live up to the expectations set to him. However, he is a productive young player.
And he's still only 21 years old. He just needs playing time, and he needs the basketball. He needs to be told, you're the starter. You're going to get 35 to 38 minutes every night, no matter what. That's why I agree with his dad when his dad says Lonzo needs to be in Phoenix. He fit in perfectly with the Phoenix Suns.
Same with Hart. So now, why is this team in the position that it is? It hasn't bought into the team first concept. What happens is, when you bring in, as Max talked about, guys as vets on one-year deals.
Jalen Rose, how are they going to buy into the team first concept when their leader does not buy into the team first concept? LeBron talks about team, but his actions show all me.
And then you have a bunch of rookie deal players. Now all of a sudden you look around and say, who's going to be here next year? LeBron. He's the only one. That's why he's the only one truly invested.
The LA LeBrons.
Which is why you see the fracture, and now you see a team that's not going to make the playoffs, as I figured they would barely make it anyway, but I did not predict that this would happen.
Neither did I. I thought the Lakers would win anywhere from 44 to 48 games.
Maybe Lonzo, by the way. Maybe Lonzo. They're 5-13 without Lonzo. Maybe Lonzo thinks he's going to be there, too.
The only thing that I would say, Jalen, is that they knew that coming into the season. They knew who had one-year deals. They knew what they were signing off for, and they were veterans along the way. The JaVale McGee's, the Rondos of the world, even Michael Beasley to a lesser degree before he ended up being let go because, he was kind of disrespectful towards the staff and some.
Disrespectful? I take it a level above that to the term insubordination. For him to try to almost bum rush Luke Walton because he's not getting playing time. that was really him saying, you know what, I could flex on this dude and get away with it because no one else here respects Luke Walton either. When you start seeing certain members of a team or even in a classroom try to flex on the authority figure, whether it be a supervisor, a manager, or a teacher, it's because they've spoken to other members of that group and they feel like none of the other members of the group will try to stop them from addressing that authority figure in a disrespectful way if they choose to do so. So that was another major reflection on the lack of regard that Luke Walton has in that locker room.
At least according to them, according to folks within the Lakers organization, no matter which way you look at it, no one was oblivious to the situation that existed. And so even though I understand what you're saying, for you to be, if they were young players with 1-year deals, that would be one thing. But to be veterans, fully aware of what they signed on for, and for it to disintegrate to this point, I'm not going to just look at the players. I'm not absolving them, but I won't just look at them. I'm going to look at the coaching staff because Magic complained.
Well, the coaching staff is gone. So, I mean, that's not even something to include. I believe that Jalen Rose says he's looking at the players because he saw the lack of effort.
Complained about them early on in the season for a reason. And I'm also going to look at some of the moves that were made and some of the moves that weren't made. When Zubac came the other day, Jalen, when they played the Clippers Monday night, you should have seen all the players running over to him to give him a hug. They didn't want this guy gone. He's 21 years old, 7 feet, and oh, by the way, he was their best free throw shooter at 88%.
And he has skills.
But you move him for Mike Muscala, who can't play. Jalen, why don't you just retire from ESPN, put on a Laker jersey, and go play, because you do a better.
The reason why they did that is because they felt like Zubac is the only player that they could move before the deadline, who they could get something back for. And also, they did not feel like would be a part of the package to try to get Anthony Davis in the offseason. So that's why they moved Zubac.
Do a better job than him. I'm telling you that right now. He can't play. He can't play. But that's what we're talking about.
Some of this, Jalen, is math, though. If you're not counting by threes in today's NBA, you are not going to win. So everything we just said, if they had some shooting, they'd probably still be in the playoffs. The bottom line is Rondo didn't shoot the three, Lonzo didn't shoot the three, Ingram don't shoot the three, Kuzma's only shooting about 32%. That ain't going to get it done. That means you don't actually shoot it well. None of their fives shoot the three. I just mentioned every single player on the team that gets real minutes, except for LeBron. So if they're not going to shoot,
they can't make free throws.
And LeBron is an average three-point shooter.
They're the worst free throw shooting team in the league, and I don't think LeBron has ever shot worse from the free throw line as he has this year.
Well, why is that, Stephen A. Smith? Is it that the pressure has gotten to him? Is it the new foreign territory that he's tried to implement himself into? There must be a reason for it. Colin Cowherd likes to go on and on and on about the reasons why Russell Westbrook is not shooting free throws as well anymore. But he never mentions LeBron James. I wonder why that is.
He needed to hire Damon Jones to come to LA with him because he can't hit free throws these days.
Players are responsible for policing themselves and for the locker room. There's only so much a coach can do. Yes, you're going to have those alpha coaches like Pop or Eric Spoelstra who probably would have went down there and grabbed Rajon Rondo by his jersey and they would have got into it on the sideline. It's a couple of guys that have
Jerry Sloan would have had him removed.
No question about it.
And Jerry Sloan ended up getting ran out the league by Deron Williams, so I don't want to hear about Jerry Sloan.
But there are certain guys that have that level of autonomy. But the leadership and the media always thinks that it's one person and wrongly thinks that the leader is the best player, when that isn't always the case. Normally, there are a couple of leaders on a team at different points of their careers that are invested in what happens. However, when the players on the squad see guys that are supposed to be the leaders not making the necessary sacrifices,
all the best players, that being LeBron James, not playing no damn defense.
You can't now put me in check about my defensive assignment.
Agreed.
You can't put me in check about being on my phone all of the time. You can't put me in check when you're showing up at the game with a glass of wine in your hand.
Thank you, sir.
When young people see that, it's like, okay, cool. He's able to get away with it, and they now think that they can do what he can do.
Yep.
And they can't do what LeBron James can do because he's an iconic player. He's proven to be a champion. He's proven to be a good leader. Well,
I'll say this. LeBron has proven over the course of his career that he's focused on trying to be a leader. I think that he's had his up moments and a lot more down moments. And this season has been one of his worst down moments as a leader, probably since he's been a leader on a team for the last 14 years or so.
Put this on the players. As you said, Stephen A., they knew what they were signing up for. They're not making the necessary sacrifices in order for this team to meet its goals.
All right, great conversation, Jalen. Great to have you.
But anyway, that's basically it on that. We'll see how much longer this LA Laker experiment lasts. We know that LeBron James will be back next season, but it would not surprise me if he's the only one who comes back next season. And Magic Johnson better watch his back, because I think that Rob Pelinka is going to try to convince Jeannie Buss that Magic Johnson is the problem, and to remove him, get him out the way, so that he can sit down and really think on how to be the Lakers GM without any chatter in his ear. But we'll see what happens. So peace.